Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into the video and share with you a pattern, two patterns actually, that I have recently made. And the first pattern that I'm going to be sharing with you, I'm going to be sharing my review and my experience of the pattern. And so I'll tell you all about the measurements that I chose. I'll tell you the features of the pattern and all that. So this pattern, this first pattern, was a collaboration that I worked with Angie, and she goes by @DIY Angie on Instagram. As far as I know, she doesn't have a YouTube channel here, like an active YouTube channel where she posts videos on here. However, her Instagram account, she's very active on Instagram. It's a public account, and she's just a wonderful seamstress. I mean, seriously, you should go over and check her stuff out. Excuse me. You should go over and check her page out, look at her grid and see all the wonderful makes that she's made. So anyway, she collaborated with me on this project. We both purchased this Vogue pattern here in the early part of the fall and of this year. So let me tell you about the features of the pattern, some of the characteristics of it, and then also the sizes and things like that that I chose, so that you can get an idea of how this garment is supposed to fit, just in case it's something that you're interested in making yourself. So the pattern is a very easy Vogue pattern, and it's V9377. This pattern, I would say it is very easy. I mean, seriously, you don't have that many pattern pieces that you're working with, and there are no closures on it. If you don't want to put any closures, it's just a very basic pattern that has a bodice, a skirt, and the sleeves. And if you want to, you could do a tie belt as well. So that's view A. But so view A is the one that's very simple. View B and C, those two views are a little bit more, it has two more pattern pieces to it. So if you want to do like a bell sleeve, you could do that, or you could do, you could put a tier at the bottom of the skirt as well. And so you can create a more elaborate duster. So, but still very, very simple pattern. I absolutely like the view that I made. I did not make views B and C, so I don't really know how that view would fit on me. But I'm guessing that if you're just adding like a tier to the bottom of the skirt, then it's going to be the same. This pattern sewed up like a dream for me. Like I said, I chose view A. This pattern comes with custom cup sizes, which I really like. I chose a cup size C, and I also chose the size 14 for that cup size. And I think that was like a 39-inch for the bust and a 33-inch for the waist. Now, I did make a lot of adjustments and alterations to my garment. And so, there are some things that I failed to consider and to take into account when I made those adjustments. And so the waist of my garment is a little bit bigger, but I knew going in that I would add a little bit to the waist, but I just didn't know it would be as much as what has happened. And then also because I took a little while making this garment, so I made this garment and the pants to go with it over the course of 2 weeks. And in that span of time, I lost weight again. Yay. So my waist is down to a 30.5 inches, which is, I'm really excited about, because at the beginning of this year, like I told you all before, I think I started at like a 35 or 36. Like I was fluctuating between a 30, I think about a 33 and a 36, but I got all the way down to a 30 and a half. Before I started on this project, I think I was like at a 31, 32, 31 and a half. And so I lost an inch off my waist. And so that also made it so that it was a little bit baggy. So anyway, let me tell you about the alterations that I made. So I added a button placket. So I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I also lengthened the skirt. So I lengthened the skirt by about, I want to say about 6 inches. So if you can see here on the model, it's nowhere near knee length. I mean, it's not like far off, but it's not near knee length. And I wanted the skirt portion to be knee length because I wanted to wear this as a duster and a dress. So I went into the project thinking, how can I make this a 2-in-1? How can I make this a multi-purpose garment? And I like to do that with a lot of dusters or cardigans or sweaters. I like to kind of get 2 different styles out of them. And so that's what I went into the project thinking, that I wanted to make it into a dress, but also wear it as a cardigan. So, in thinking about that, I wanted to have a closure where I didn't have to worry about like snaps showing when the duster was open, or having loops stand out on the side. And then I also was worried about buttons as well. I really didn't want to have the buttons on there and the buttonholes. So I didn't really know what to do for the closure, but I knew I wanted a button placket as well. And that having this open with a frog closure was just not going to do it if I wanted to make it into a dress. So anyway, I had, some trouble trying to come up with what I wanted to do for that center front to make it a dress. But I just decided on buttons and a button closure. I decided to go with some purple buttons that match the background of the garment. So that way, if I left it open, the buttons didn't stand out as much, and they kind of blended into the garment as well, which I think it kind of does. For the front placket, the other alteration that I made, I added a pocket, an inseam pocket on the side of the garment here. And that was just a matter of just making a really nice pocket, a pattern for my pocket. And yeah, it wasn't anything too elaborate or too detailed. So those are all the adjustments that I've made. But I also want to go back and include some carriers on the side of the garment. So right here underneath on this side seam, I want to put a carrier on each side and then one in the back as well. So I'm going to go back and do that as well. So now let me talk a little bit about this button placket, and then I will tell you the second pattern that I worked on for this to complete my outfit for this. Okay, so the button placket, what I did, so this neckline here, the pattern for the bodice, it has a very, very deep V neck. And as you can see, on the illustration, she's wearing a camisole underneath. And that's because, well, she's wearing it as a duster, but also if this was if it were to be a dress, you would have to put a camisole underneath of it. I did not want to do that. So I added an inch here to the bodice piece, which gave me 2 inches, one on this side and one on this side. So that made it so that that deep V, that it brought that deep V closer in, and then I didn't have to worry about wearing a camisole. And then the second adjustment that I made is this button placket. So I added this button placket, and the button placket is 1 inch wide plus my seam allowance on both sides. Now, I did not include that measurement into my waistline. So what I did is I tapered. So I started at the shoulder because I didn't want to change the shoulder. So I started at the shoulder and then I tapered out until I got my 1 inch. So my 1 inch sits basically up in this area right here. And then it tapers back down to my waist because I didn't want to change my waist either. So when I did that, I failed to account for, I did increase this side here. So by adding this, I also increased the waist, but not by the 1 inch from the bodice, only from the button placket. I hope that makes sense. And so the button placket, when I did that, it made it so that it wasn't even going all the way down, if that makes any sense. So I had to go back and I had to readjust my measurements and things like that for the button placket. So that way everything can align up on the bodice here, right here. So that was the only trouble I had with that. In terms of like doing my own pattern for the button placket, I just followed the neckline here to create this button placket. And then I also did the same thing for the placket going down the bottom. And I just followed the skirt pattern. So the skirt pattern is just a really large rectangle, or is it square pattern. And you cut that out, I think it's twice. Let's see, 1, 2. Yeah. So you cut that out. So you have a skirt front, you cut that out twice. And then the skirt back is on a fold. Okay. Yeah. And then I just, like I said, when I extended the skirt, that gave me the length that I wanted, and I just did a really narrow 5/8 of an inch hem on the skirt. The sleeves, I was really surprised by the sleeves. I didn't have to do any alterations to the sleeves. I didn't have to do a bicep adjustment. I didn't have to do anything. I think I shortened the pattern by 1 inch and that's it. But I didn't have to do any bicep adjustments or anything like that. So the sizing for the sleeves for me were spot on. The tie belt, I made the tie belt, and like I said, that's view D of the pattern. Let me show you the line drawing. I don't think I did that. So there's the line drawing for the pattern. And as you can see, view D is the tie belt. And so I thought that this would make a really nice addition. Let me talk about the fabric real quickly, and then I'll go ahead and move on to the second pattern that I made. So the fabric for the tie belt is a Supima cotton, and you can find that at Joann's on their website, or if you are in the United States, you can go to any Joann, your local Joann store, and look in their premium cotton section. And this is their Supima cotton. And I really like this cotton. I've played with it a number of different times. I've made it when I was participating in the flashback sewing challenge that at Win Michelle and at Faith St. Jules hosted over the summer. I actually made a top out of this as well to go with the pants, but I just haven't finished it yet. So I just have to add the buttons to it. So if I want to wear the pants separately, I could wear the pants with the top as well. So I really like this fabric, and it's really soft. It has a really nice soft feel to it, and that's why I like it. And I decided it would go really well with this. This is a wax print, and I purchased this from AliExpress. It has purple and teal colors. It's just a really nice print. Anyway, let me stop rambling on and let me show you my second make. Okay, so for those of you who have been following me for a while, especially throughout the summer, you know that I've made this a number of times. So I've made this pattern 3 times before, so this is my 4th time making this pattern, and it's the Simplicity 1165. I've made view D, which are the shorts here, and I've made view A, which are these pants here. So these are the plain pants. So view B, you can do like a little design and do some color blocking or fabric blocking or whatever. So I did view A for this project. So for view C, I've made 2 pair of pants, and I could put them here so that you can see what those look like. And I did a mini review of this pattern before, but I didn't give a full review of it. So I'll go ahead and give a full review of this pattern since I've made it so many times and I like it. I'll tell you more about this pattern. So as I said before, I did view A, but this pattern has 4 different variations. So you could do a pair of like shorter shorts, and then you could do like a pair of knee-length shorts, or you could do a pair of pants, and then you can also do pants that have color blocking options as well. So with view A, this time I decided that I wanted to take this basic pattern and I wanted to take it a step further and add some elements to it. And I really like the elements that I did add to it. But let me first tell you about the pattern itself before I added certain details and characteristics to it. So first, it has like this front side pocket here, which is one of my favorite things about this pattern. I don't like pants that have elastic in the waist that has inseam pockets, because the pockets tend to open up and you can kind of see the pockets on the side of your hips, and sometimes it's really hard to get the fit right over there on the side of your hips, and so the pockets kind of hang open and it's just really weird. So the reason why I like this pattern is because, like I said, it has this slit pocket here up at the top, and you don't have to worry about those inseam pockets. It also has pockets on the back of the garment as well, which you can place at the back near the buttocks area. It also features an elastic waistband that has 2 channels of elastic, which I like about that as well. The pattern is a little bit baggy down at the knee and the calf area. I think in the future, since I've made this twice already into a pair of pants, I think in the future I am going to slim that down and take some of that extra fabric out down in that area. But as you can see on the pattern's envelope, it is supposed to be a little bit loose fitting down in that area. But I think mine's, because I have little tiny chicken legs, it looks a little bit more baggy on me. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and slim that out, and so I can have a better fit down in that area. Also, like I said, because I've been losing weight, I need to go back and change the size for this pattern. I've noticed with this pattern, I do have a little bit more fabric in the hip area than I like. So I need to go ahead and take that in about 2 or 3 inches as well, because I've lost about 2 or 3 inches on off my hips as well. So I need to go back and either choose another pattern or just restructure the pattern so that I can have the size that is closest to my measurements. The features that I've added to this, I've added 5 belt loop carriers. So, and I made mine really wide. My initial thought when I made these carriers were to put this tie inside of the belt loops and have like a little bow detail or something like that in the front. because I've seen several different styles on Instagram like that, and I thought it was really cute, but it just doesn't work with this tie because this tie is really long and really thick for these pants. And so I need to find a different or make a different belt for these pants so that I can get the style that I'm looking for. The other detail that I added to this pattern is I came up with my own pattern for ties, leg ties at the bottom of the garment here. And basically all I did was I made a pattern that is, I think this is like 3.5 or 4 inches wide, and then I had my seam allowance for it. Basically I sewed this together with right size facing, and then I flipped it out, pressed it down, and I sewed it inside of the seam here, and then I serged the seam up, if you can see that here. So it's inside the seam, and I did that for, I did 2 ties for each leg, and I think the length is, I want to say it's like 12 inches in length or something like that. I had to give myself some, really good length, but the pattern itself is just a really long rectangle pattern that I sewed up. It's nothing, special. And then I just created my own bows here at the end of the leg. So I just wanted to bring something different to this pattern because it is a basic pattern. I just wanted to spice it up a little bit. So those are the makes that I have made for my collaboration with Angie, and I'm really excited about them. The dress, I'm more excited about the dress than the pants, even though I like them equally, but I know I will get a lot of wear out of this dress. So let me tell you about my upcoming plans. I haven't really been doing a lot of videos where I tell you like my sewing makes for the next coming months, but I do want to go ahead and tell you some things that are coming up. I have this McCall's M7992 that I am making, and this is going to be another collaboration that I am doing with Emily, and she goes by the SoCal Socialite here on YouTube and also on Instagram. So I'm looking forward to this because we're almost completed with our projects and our videos, and we're going to be posting those soon. So look forward to those videos. And I also have a few things that I want to get sewed up for fall. For this season, I've decided to kind of focus on like an animal print theme. And so I do have several animal prints that I'm going to be working with. So you might see a lot of that during this upcoming season. So I just want to prepare you for that, and hopefully you won't get too bored by them. But I have been collecting a lot of animal prints over the last year, and I've just been so excited to sew them up throughout the fall. And I can't wait to show you all what I have plans for and what I'm doing with these different projects. So I'll show you all these different projects that I'm working on and that I'm doing as I'm going along and sewing each one. So yeah, so that's what I have been working on, is getting this animal collection together. And then also, like I said, this last collaboration that I'm doing here for this season with Emily. So yeah, I have been participating in a lot of collaborations, and I've been very, very excited to be more involved in the sewing community. It's just been very therapeutic for me. And also now that my son is going to school, he's in preschool, it's been really nice to be able to connect with people in the sewing community differently than I have before. So that's why you're seeing a lot of collaborations and things, because I can now do those things since my son is at school more. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and my review of these two patterns, and also just I hope that you just have enjoyed seeing these makes. If you have any questions about these two patterns or the makes, please make sure that you leave your comments below. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you do so. If you like the video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up. And again, leave a comment below, because all those things really helps this channel out. All right, so I hope to see you all in the next video. And until then, stay creative, my friends.